Product officer. Ooh, recording in progress. I like it. So we are recording this for everyone. And if you are watching this delayed, we're happy to answer questions afterwards, and I'll show you how to follow up with us on that. If you're new to CSI and you just have iEmail, just so you know, we are the longest standing IMIS solution provider. We've been writing products for IMIS, or add-ons, if you will, since I believe 2001 with iMerge. And we consider ourselves the leading provider of products to the IMIS community. A product to us has more than, say, 10 users, has a manual, and has support. We've won the Rise App Challenge given out by ASI 5 times, and we're the People's Choice winner 3 of those times, so voted #1. So pretty excited. Our newest product, not our newest product, our product we're really excited about today because it's really helping people move to the cloud, is our data management suite. Just to make sure you know about this, you can use a spreadsheet to update IMIS or insert records very easily. You can use an IQA, just like you used to use a SQL statement, and you can now update IMIS using your IQA. And of course, you can schedule it just like the old stored procedures. So that's the data management suite. Super excited about it today. Our data station's helping cloud clients and IMIS 2017 as well push data to third parties like learning management systems, only sending data when new members sign up or things like that. And of course, it has webhook capabilities so that the LMS can write back to IMIS. And it also is scheduled. Our cloud SSO, super powerful, runs in our Azure cloud. One login for all systems. The member needs to know their IMIS login. That's it. You can send additional data with the login, demographics, credentials, anything you might want. SAML and OAuth 2 automatically there. As long as the third party supports that, you can buy this. You don't need to go buy a bunch of bridges. You can just do it with our SSO, and you combine it with the data station. There's so many things you can actually connect to. Our newest product, Text Manager. Really excited about this. It didn't really take off during the pandemic. I think a lot of people were sitting at home and the ability to text didn't matter. We were all sitting in front of the computer. But now, as we're getting out and about more, it's pretty important to be able to text. We just had a customer of ours text 50,000 of their members, and the response rate was, I believe, let's see, it was about 2 to 3% with email, and it went up to over 25% with texting. So just a dramatic improvement there. You choose, pick the IQA, who you're going to send to, when you're going to send them to text. You can have recurring text. So wish everybody happy birthday, merge IMIS data into the text, and then write data back to IMIS as an activity that was sent. But we're here to talk about iEmail Cloud. Just so you know, the concept behind iEmail Cloud is 360-degree communication, right? So we've got a lot of stuff going on with our members and non-members where we're reaching out to them, they're coming back to us, but they're talking to individuals at our organization. And rarely are they sending to all staff. And so JT doesn't have any insight into what's happening with a member that emails me, and I don't have any insight when he emails a member. So the concept here is we're going to be able to keep track of emails that are both sent and received. That's important. We want to do that in IMIS so everybody can see it. We want to be able to, the original concept of iEmail was that we wanted to be able to look up small groups of individuals. We see this a lot with committees. I can email a committee in IMIS. It's not that hard, but I tell you, it's much faster in Outlook. I'm sitting in Outlook and I want to email a committee and let them remind them about an upcoming meeting or anything like that. Gosh, I can do that in about 30 seconds using Outlook. It's going to take me longer in IMIS. It's going to look prettier, right? It's going to say, Dear Doug, Dear JT, but who cares? It's the committee. They all know who they are. And I can save it on their record so that when one of them doesn't show up for the meeting, hey, we can go yell at them. We added this feature. I love this. You get an email from someone, they're new, you can add them to IMIS right from Outlook. So cool. Of course, you can do calendar invites too. And that's just like sending an email to a committee. Maybe you want to send an invite out. Easy. And some competitors to IMIS have an Outlook integration that they try to show so much in Outlook. Well, you're always going to miss something. Why not be able to just jump to the member's profile right from Outlook? Click show profile and be on the member's profile instantly and see everything we need to see. Other people are doing fun things, and we're going to show you this in our best practice. Volunteers can use iEmail Cloud, right? I can turn this over to a board member. They can have the product and stuff like that. IQAs, they're available as well. And so I can have favorite IQAs. We'll talk about those. I could send out a personal email. Maybe it's my executive director's job. She runs an IQA that pulls up everybody about to expire, and she sends a personal email to each of them and says, Julie, hate to lose you as a member. Please consider renewing. Think about how powerful that might be, right? How long would that take? 5 minutes a day. And if I was sending maybe 5 members that were expiring, and to get an email from the executive director, I think it's worth 5 minutes of his or her time to send that email out. That would be powerful. I know I would feel guilty if I was a member of ASAE, pushing it a little bit here, and the executive director sent me a little, hey, Doug, you are going to renew, right? It would mean a lot to me. Wow, that's powerful. And then volunteers, like I said, volunteers could use those IQAs with the proper security. So let's talk about some best practices and some use cases. The best thing I can tell you is you want to have some sort of data governance plan, rule, law. Sometimes we hear from customers and like, well, our staff's not really using it. Well, wait a minute, hold on. If I don't tell JT that he needs to save interactions with members in IMIS, I'm pretty sure he's not going to do it. I need to not only tell him he needs to do that, but I need to show him why that's important. I need to show that when he goes on vacation and that member calls me and he says, I've been talking with JT or emailing with JT, I want to be able to see JT's emails, and I can do that right in IMIS. So you want to have some sort of plan, rule, law, if you will, at your organization where you decide what are your rules for saving emails. Should they be saved as an interaction? Should they be saved as an activity? I got a little star there because if you're using IMIS 2017, attachments don't get saved with activities. Attachments only get saved with interactions. But if you're on EMS, cloud, enterprise, then yes, of course, the attachments get saved there. And if you're on EMS professional, it's just interactions. So a lot of stuff there, but I love the interactions for some reasons. Primarily, they look prettier and I can hit a resend and other stuff. But even if you set those rules up, you want to make sure, double check with staff. Are they, you can run a query, how many interactions are being added per day, what new activities are being added. You want to make sure they're actually using the product because once again, I can tell JT to do it. I can tell him he has to do it. I can show him why. But if he's not doing it, I need to go yell at him, which I'm really good at. Okay, first up, assign the right users. A lot of people don't know this, that iEmail Cloud is licensed per user. You don't have to be a staff member, a staff login. You don't have to have a IMIS staff login to IMIS. Staff login to IMIS to use iEmail. iEmail Cloud is licensed per user. Yes, they need a record in IMIS. They could be a public user. They could be a staff user. Anybody, right? But you are going to need to give them the remote access role. And I'm going to show you that. And once again, I can't stress this enough. They don't have to be staff. We had a client call and say, hey, it's per user. We have 30 staff, but only about 20 of them use iEmail. But we have 10 other people that don't have IMIS licenses, and we'd like them to use iEmail. Well, you can do that. We don't care. You have to have at least as many licenses as you have IMIS users, but you can go beyond that too. So you can always buy more. But I'm going to show you this too. You're going to want to check your IQA security. At least the ASI demo images that I play around with, the IQAs are open to everybody. And so if I give my volunteer access to iEmail and I ask her to do some things and I don't have my IQA locked down, she gets to have access to every darn IQA I have. So let's go ahead and go through how we do this. All right. So I'm going to jump right into IMIS here. Let's move it on over the screen so you can see it. And I'm going to go, and I've got this this public user. His name's Doug Morris, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up his record. And there he is. And as we open up his record, he's a public user. I'm going to give him access to iEmail. Oh, cool. Notice you've got to have this remote service role. If that's not there, you need to hit add role. and you'll see remote service here, and you'll click OK on it. By the way, I thought I had removed that already, but I must have forgotten. Anyway, you're going to need to have that remote service. That has to be on everybody that's using iEmail Cloud. Now, you might go in there now and go, hey, I'm using it today, and I don't have that role. A change ASI is making for security purposes is going to require that, and I think the next week or two. They're rolling out these cloud or EMS updates so rapidly now. It's very exciting, but if you don't have that role, iEmail is going to stop working. So first, I'm going to add it there. Then next up, I'm going to log in to cloud.csiinc.com. Now, I'm not logging in as Doug Morris, right? I'm logging in as Brian in this case. I'm an administrator. So you, as your organization administrators, are going to log into our cloud. You will see everything that you're actually licensed for here, and it may just be iEmail. I'm going to go down to my account. Once you're down there, you're going to go ahead and go down to assign or remove users. When I click that, you will get a list of every cloud app that you have in terms of, what do you call it? Why is this not working? Hello. Let's try that again. And I have to go yell at someone here in a minute. All right, there we go. Assign or remove users. Okay, we're waiting now. We're actually doing some migration right now. We're turning on Asia Pacific. So Asia Pacific is getting their own cloud, if you will, running down in Sydney. So it's going to be much faster. So that's probably what's going on now. But I need to go down here and I need to add in Doug Morris, right? So I happen to know it's Doug@DougMorris.com, and I need to assign him. So I'm assigning Doug at Doug Morris, a public user, the ability to use iEmail. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and fire up my Outlook. And when Doug goes to run it or log in, if you will, and let's go ahead and see what it looks like here. I'm going to jump into iEmail Cloud. I'm actually going to go to menu and I'm going to sign out and I'm going to sign in now as Doug. So his username is Doug@DougMorris.com. His password, don't say it out loud, Doug. And then you need your cloud ID, right? You got that. That's how we tie iEmail or the data management suite or Cvent or whatever you're using, how we tie it back to your database. And so in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and log in with my cloud ID. Doug, a public user, is jumping into iEmail. Now, sometimes, by the way, if you go to add that remote service role, it does take a few minutes in IMIS. So if it doesn't work right away, you've got to wait for IMIS to figure it out. But now Doug is in here. He has full context search. He has access to the groups. Now you might be like, oh, it's a little more than I want to give out. We are looking at enhancing the product so that you will be able to control what those people can see. But now check this out. Doug's going to go into IQAs. This is where it gets a little scary. Check it out. He has access to every IQA and you're going to be able to run and see everything in all of those. So very important, especially if you're new to IMIS. Go ahead into your IQAs and you're going to want to set the security on them, right? So here's CSI as a folder. I might want to edit that and I might want to go to access settings. And then notice, at least in my IMIS demo database, everyone has full control. Scary, right? Doug's going to be able to run every IQA you have out there under this CSI folder. So you may want to switch that down to all staff or something like that. So if you're starting to roll out iEmail to non-staff users, or this is important too, maybe you've got your foundation using it and you've got your membership organization using it, and you want to separate the IQAs, and you just make sure that you've set up IMIS to have the appropriate permissions. So notice you can go ahead and do this. There's also specific roles and groups that you can do and fun things like that. So don't forget to set your IQA security, and that will keep the public users in or out of doing fun things. All right. Next up, this is a neat feature we added, and probably the main reason we decided to start doing these best practices, because we added it and I don't think people are taking advantage of it. Activities can save more than just emails. And the cool thing about that is you can use them for tasks and reminders. And then we even added in some calculated fields. And you're probably like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Doug. Fair enough. So let's go see it. So we're going to jump back to iEmail. I am going to go ahead and sign out. And I'm going to now sign in as Brian. So we're signing in as Brian. Brian is a staff user. And so we're all set there. Oops, let's jump right back in. Here is an email from Doug Morris, and he's like, hey, please call me. I want to chat. Oh, I can set up iEmail to create tasks for my coworkers. How cool is this? Let's walk through how to do that. In iEmail Cloud, and I have to be an administrator. We'll talk about security in a minute to set this up. If we go to options, and then the next thing we go to is our activity types. So here's an activity type. I've got two set up. I can tell iEmail about multiple activity types. I can tell it, I've made up this activity type, I've made up this, whatever. I'm using call and email. Well, why would I write a call activity to IMIS? Well, check it out. If I click on that one, right? What we see here is the date in the activity is going to be today. The note is going to be see the interaction. I'm going to assign it to Brian. Okay, so I'm assigning this one to Brian. So I may have other ones set up, but I'm going to assign it to Brian. And I want him to follow up. And notice we have these new calculated fields. Whoops. You can actually do fun stuff like that, you know, when I want to do it. And you're like, Doug, hey, that's really great. I know you said your products are easy, but how would I ever know that? Well, and we're going to talk about this at the end. docs.csiinc.com, apps, iEmail Cloud, options, and then you'll see activity type calculated fields. And we've added in how to do these things. So this is really important for what ASI calls tickler sort of things. It works in 2017, it works in cloud. So what we're doing with this one is we're going to say Brian is going to be assigned to follow up with this person today, actually the day after today, and some actions of call them. So I'm going to hit save on this. It's been saved. Great. Now, what does this look like in real use? All right, Doug wants to chat. I'm going to go to iEmail Cloud. I don't need to save this email if I want to, but I'm going to save it as an activity and a call activity. So I just hit save activity. We get a message, activity's been saved. Now, of course, we normally like to record this fun stuff, but we didn't. We jump right back in. I'm logged in as Brian Murphy, right? So everything's cool there. So if we look at, you know, his account, one of the things you'll see in his account are the tasks that he needs to do. There are some there, but check it out. We're going to just go to community dashboard. And there's that call. Contact Doug Morris, call him, see the interaction. So the interaction might be the email, but now I can click right on that and go right to Doug Morris's record in IMIS. So this is really, really powerful to be able to do fun things like this. So now I'm using iEmail Cloud to create activities to bother my coworkers or remind them to do fun things. So cool stuff like that. You can see I've corrupted my database a little bit, but I was practicing. So there you go. Okay, where are we next? Assign the right permissions. Okay, remember you get control lots of what's in IMIS, and don't forget the IQA permissions, and don't forget the profile URL. So let's go through permissions in iEmail. I showed you the IQAs, but if we go to options, now I do need to be a system administrator, but look what the things we can do here. Who can change the roles for who has access to this product, right? I can do that. Sysadmin, who can create interactions? Who can create activities? Do we allow duplicate email addresses? This is a thing in the past. iEmail would say, well, there's 2 Doug Morris in the database, and we just go forget it. Some people want to allow that, and they want to pick and choose which one to do. So there's a lot we can do here, but notice my profile URL is missing. Let's go fix that. The profile URL, whoops, is designed to allow you to jump right to IMIS. So the easiest way to do this, because you may have a customized staff site, if you will, the easiest way to do this is to go up here and you're going to grab everything up until the question mark ID. So I'm going to just grab this whole thing and I'm going to copy that. We're going to jump back into iEmail and I'm going to drop that in my profile URL and I'm going to hit save. That's cool. Now that that's done, when I click on iEmail and I'm on Doug's record, if I've set this up correctly, I can hit the view profile button. So really important thing that I think a lot of people forget to do. And they should. So boom, there I am looking at Doug's profile, stuff like that. So don't forget to set up the view profile button. And that once again is done in menus, menu options. And then you can go right here and remember it's everything up to the .aspx. You may have a custom one. It may not say this. It may be something different depending on how you've set up IMIS. And this is where I also set up my activity types, the different activity types that iEmail Cloud can write to. And we're enhancing these securities and we're making them better. So just a heads up on that. Last but not least, here's a little fun thing thanks to Microsoft. If you have an email that you're sending to a member and it has an attachment and you would like that attachment to be saved into IMIS as well, you do need to send the email and then go attach it. There is this cool little thing. Let's go look at it in IMIS, iEmail, sorry. So I'm in Outlook. I'm going to send an email. Now, if I go out here and I go, hey, we're going to send, well, let's go use iEmail the way it's made. I don't know Doug Morris's email address. So I'm going to hit iEmail Cloud, contact search, Morris, Doug. There he is. Okay. And by the way, I just heads up pointing out here, I don't have to, when I'm ready to save this, I don't have to save it just on Doug's record. I could save it on his company record too. So got Doug's information in here. If I go and I say, you rock, hi, Doug, and I hit save to IMIS, this is going to work just fine. There's going to be no issues. Where you run into an issue is if you have an attachment on this email. Due to a Microsoft limitation, saving to IMIS when an attachment is on an email in compose mode does not work. So if there was an attachment on here and I wanted to save that attachment in IMIS, I would hit send here. Then I would go into my sent items, find this, hit iEmail Cloud, and then go ahead and save it to IMIS. Okay, so save as interaction or save as activity. So you only have to worry about that in compose mode. So it doesn't happen a lot. For instance, if I want to take Jeff's email here or Jody's email, if I want to take Jody's and I just hit iEmail Cloud and I'm going to save this in IMIS, it's going to work fine. But just in case you don't know this, I don't have Jody in my database. Look at this. So we can go right down here, click on this, and it says, all right, what's her name? Where does she work? All right, save, and then view profile after hitting save. So here I am. I want to save this email in IMIS that got sent to me, but Jody's not in IMIS. So I go ahead and I can now immediately jump right in and do that. And it's going to open up her profile and it's going to do all sorts of fun things like that. So I love that sort of thing. You can see right there, it's pulled up Jody's record. She has now been inserted in IMIS. Life is good. I can go and finish up any other information about her that I want to add here. Or now I can just say, cool, save this as an interaction. So I just added Jody to the database and then I just saved it as an interaction on her record. And so if we jump right back here, now we can go out here and say, tell me a little bit about Jody. Where are her, what kind of interactions are we having with her? Transactions, volunteering, anything, about participation. So all of this is here, including that email now has been saved out here as well. So super powerful stuff here in terms of saving it right into IMIS and doing all sorts of fun things directly from here. So if you have any questions on that, let us know. Okay, let's see. Don't forget about the favorite IQAs, okay? I say don't forget about it because it's my favorite feature. And my favorite feature says, hey, let's go. Boy, that's annoying. The PowerPoint keeps taking over. Let's go new. Let's go to iEmail Cloud. And favorite IQAs are the IQAs you like to use a lot. So I always like to show the volunteer IQAs. Maybe you're going to go out here and go contact management. And then you go default system. And then you go queries. And then you go volunteers. And then you go find volunteers. That's a lot. You can just favorite that by clicking that little button right there. Now, iEmail Cloud, next time you go to run it, you hit favorite IQAs. There it is, find volunteers. Boom, right in there. push ASI to do the same thing. I think it's really cool. And remember, IQAs can have prompts in them, and you'll see them all fire up in here. So great example is I want to find some volunteers that are good at ABC. I can go look them up and instantly send them a quick email and go, hey, we have an opening on a committee or something like that. So very powerful. I love videos. We use Snagit here at CSI, not all of us, but I love it. I also find that a video over 5 minutes, people stop watching. So if you want to start doing this for your staff, create quick videos. Hey, look at how easy this is. Post it in Teams or Slack or whatever you might doing, but get it out. Hey, just do a blast email to everybody. I don't care. So consider creating quick videos to help your staff with fun things like this. If you get stuck, all of our documentation is online at docs@csinc.com. And you can always email us. It's included in your licensing fee. Email us at support. We are not going to go and do all your configuration, but if you have any how-to questions or help or, hey, what's the best practice on this? We want to help you. Okay. And yes, if you get totally stuck, you're like, I just need some help. We'll help you out there. Okay. In terms of figuring out why your stuff's not working. So we're here for you. Let us know. So any questions? Oh, sorry, JT, you're supposed to say that stuff.
Thanks, Doug. Great stuff. We are now open for questions. As I mentioned at the start, go ahead and launch the Q&A window and type in your questions, or chat is fine as well. I'll give you a minute or two to do so, and then Doug will answer them.
All right, I see one. Can a staff user without an IMAS license use the view profile button? Yes, they can, but you would want to set your profile to be the member responsive site or whatever member site you were using. So that when they click view profile, obviously a non-staff user, a staff user without an IMAS license can't get into the staff site. So in that case, if you're seeing that a lot, you would probably want to make the profile URL actually point to the member site that everybody can get into with a login. Good question. Such a good video. There's no questions, JT. That's what I love about it. So we'll give it another minute here. All right. So this is going to be going out to anybody that signed up, and would love to hear feedback, things you want to add, whatever. Although sales at CSI Inc. is on there. Supported CSI. If you are using iEmail and you wish it did something different, feel free to go ahead and email us at support@csinc.com. I'm the product owner for iEmail Cloud. I see those. I look at them. I look at them about once a month. If they make sense, we add it to the product. If you're the first person to ask for it, and it's kind of crazy, you're going to get an email from me that says, hey, thanks for that really awesome tip. We'll consider it. That probably means we're not going to consider it. But guess what? When your friend sends us the same request and your friend's friend sends the same request, I go, ooh, now 3 people want that. Let's go do it. Alternatively, if it's a really good request, like, hey, Doug, I need more granularity on security or something like that, we'll go and say, ooh, it does make sense. Let's go add it. So, and those automatically come out. So we push out these updates. We actually, our website's wrong. It tells you the version. I don't even know what version we're on. We're pushing out updates to iEmail Cloud all the time. So it's always changing. And we add stuff, and we're going to try and do better about letting you know all the stuff we added, like having these webinars. So thank you very much.